4 équipes participantes et les officiels pour la Coupe Memorial 2026. Please welcome, veuillez accueillir les champions du trophée Gilles Courteau de la Ligue de hockey junior Maritime Québec, the Gilles Courteau Trophy Champions from the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League, les Saguenayens de Chicoutimi.
Where it began, I can't begin to know, but then I know it's growing strong. Wasn't the spring, and spring became the summer, who'd have believed you'd come along?
From the Ontario Hockey League, de la Ligue de hockey de l'Ontario, champion de la Coupe J. Ross Robertson, the J. Ross Robertson Cup champions, the Kitchener Rangers.
It wasn't easy, but nothing it has.
From the Western Hockey League, de la Ligue de hockey de l'Ouest, les champions de la Coupe Ed Chenoweth, the Ed Chenoweth Cup champions, the Everett Silvertips. Team, l'équipe hôtesse de la Ligue de hockey de l'Ouest, from the Western Hockey League, the Kelowna Rockets. Stage, the voice of the Kelowna Rockets, Regan Bartel.
Welcome to Kelowna. Before we begin this program, we acknowledge that we gather today on the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Silks Okanagan people. We thank the Indigenous communities of the region for their stewardship of this land. I would like to welcome some key people who have joined us today, the majority of them right in the front row. Valerie McGregor, the Dominion Vice President for the Royal Canadian Legion and members of the Legion. Members of the Department of National Defence and the Royal Canadian Dragoons. MP Stephen Fuhr. Kelowna Mayor Tom Dyas. Chief Robert Louis of the West Bank First Nation. Dan MacKenzie, the President of the Canadian Hockey League. Dan Neer, the Commissioner of the Western Hockey League. Steve Thompson, Dave Rush, co-chairs of the 2026 Memorial Cup Host Committee and all the members of the Host Committee. Parjeet Singh Sagal, the CEO of Canco, the presenting sponsor of the arrival of the Cup ceremony. And finally, the many partners and sponsors of the 2026 Memorial Cup. Please join me now in welcoming Chief Robert Louis of the West Bank First Nation, whose leadership and partnership continue to help shape the future of the Okanagan region.
Thank you very much, Samantha, for our Sukanakan Sioux Okanagan song. Very, very impressive. We're very, very proud of our lands. We are the ancestral peoples of these lands. And we're very, very proud to be the nation within these lands. Wai Limlim, Incha Iskwi Simu, Ginomecham, West Bank First Nation. My name is Simu. In our lands, and our name-giving ceremony that was given to me by my Stemtima, my grandmother, it means connected to the lands. And my English name is Robert Louis, and I am the chief of the West Bank First Nation. I have the pleasure to say these opening words. Good afternoon, athletes, to the coaches, to the event organizers, to the military personnel, the volunteers, the canoe paddlers, the fans, the dignitaries, and there's quite a list of dignitaries. So on behalf of my community, the West Bank First Nation, I have the privilege to welcome you to the Sioux Okanagan territory to celebrate the accomplishment of our athletes. I'd like to begin with a special limlim, a thank you to the Indigenous and RCMP paddlers who made the journey across the lake and took care of the Memorial Cup as it arrived safely. Your arrival was powerful and meaningful and set the tone for this gathering. So limlim for that, and limlim to Dave Rush for putting that idea forward. I want to make some acknowledgements and really say limlim to the organizers, the volunteers, and our partners who have worked hard to bring this event to life. Limlim to the RCMP Constable Rolly Williams and Miranda McCarroll for organizing the canoe journey. And again to our WFN youth Sam Bellingham for singing the Okanagan song. We are proud to stand alongside the Memorial Cup organization in collaboration, and we appreciate the respect shown in working together with our community, the West Bank First Nation. It's been an honor. Mayor Tom Dyas, to you and your council, to the city, we say limlim and say thank you. These partnerships are very, very important. They reflect how we can move forward together in a good way. So we gather today on lands that have been home to our peoples, the Okanagan Sioux peoples, since time immemorial. This place, this valley, these lands are rich with history, culture, and connection to the land and water. It's important that we come together in a good way, with respect, with understanding, and with a shared spirit of community. Hockey has a unique way of bringing people together. It crosses cultures, generations, and backgrounds, creating connection through a shared love of the game. The Memorial Cup is more than a championship. It's a national tradition that showcases dedication, teamwork, and the pride of communities from coast to coast. And we are proud of our athletes and proud of the teams and all of their hard work, their organizers, their coaches, to all of them. This is special, and we say limlim to you for being who you are. To the teams competing, I wish you the very, very best of luck. You represent the elite of the elitist in Canada for hockey. The Western Hockey League, the Ontario Hockey League, and the Quebec Maritimes Journey Hockey League, and to our own Kelowna Rockets being the host team. Good luck to each and every one of you. Play hard, play fair, and enjoy every moment. To our visitors, we say welcome. Take time to experience the beauty of this territory and the warmth of the Okanagan and the city of Kelowna. May the tournament be filled with great memories, strong connections, and a spirit that carries forward long after the final game. It's been an honor and a privilege to say these few words to you. Lim lim, and have a great, great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, the Memorial Cup, la Coupe Memorial.
Players can't touch it yet, but it is beautiful, spectacular. We'll continue now with the program. I'd like to welcome Mayor Tom Dyas, whose leadership, passion for this community continues to help position Kelowna as a premier destination for major events and celebrations.
Thank you, Reagan, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, on behalf of the City of Kelowna, welcome to the 2026 Memorial Cup. It's finally here. And I would like to start by welcoming the teams that are competing for this year's Cup. The Everett Silvertips, the Kitchener Rangers, the Shakootenay Saguenay, and our hometown Kelowna Rockets. Please give them all a big round of applause. As a city, we have come here together to celebrate this 106th Memorial Cup. A tournament that was established to honor excellence in sport, the spirit of youth, and the importance of remembrance. A tournament that recognizes veterans and those who served, many of who were no older than the players that will be on the ice during this tournament. As we celebrate this national event, we also recognize the effort, discipline, and energy that every player brings to this competition. You represent the highest level of junior hockey in Canada, and that matters to this community, something which we all recognize and are proud of your achievements. Each Memorial Cup creates stories and memories. The last time it was here in Kelowna, it created stories that people still talk about. Stories of lightning storms and power outages during the game against Medicine Hat. Stories of the energy inside the big tent and how it matched the energy inside the arena. Stories of the play of Kelly Gard and the goal of Randall Gelch, and players such as Josh Georges and Shea Weber. Stories of relationships that were started at this event, and stories of the success of our Kelowna Rockets. Those moments live on in our memories, fans and volunteers and the players. Over the next 10 days, the Memorial Cup will create a set of new memories, and we are excited to see those stories unfold right here in Kelowna. It is an honor on behalf of the city and on behalf of my council to welcome the Canadian Hockey League, the Western Hockey League, the Ontario Hockey League, and the Quebec Maritimes Junior Hockey League players, families, coaches, organizations, media, and the fans who have traveled from different parts of our country to spend either a few days in our community or to be here for the whole 10-day tournament. As well, a special thank you to our city manager, Doug Gilchrist, acting living and cultural director, Jim Gabriel, sports and events manager, Doug Nicholas, and the many city staff across the city who have worked tirelessly to get our city ready. In addition, I also want to thank my council members who gave their time, understood the impact of this event, and worked to ensure that the Kelowna had the facilities and the infrastructure necessary and needed to scale such a successful event. The Memorial Cup, as mentioned, began as a powerful idea. Back in 1919, just after the end of the First World War, the Ontario Hockey League established the Memorial Cup to honor sport and Canadians who served and died in the war. The young players you will see in this tournament skate not only compete to win, but to carry forward the legacy that is now more than a century old. That story matters, and Kelowna understands what that moment represents. In 2004, the city hosted the Memorial Cup, and the Kelowna Rockets won their first Memorial Cup right here at home. The crowds were sold out, and the community showed up in full force, not just because of what happened on the ice, but because of what it felt like across the city. Downtown was full, the arena was full, the outdoor tents were full and the place to be, and the entire city felt connected. That same feeling is here again, and if any indication of that is with the route that we just took on the parade, I would say that we are off to an amazing start. When West Bank First Nations and Chief Robert Louis brought the cup across the lake, we were reminded how special a place this is and what hosting this Memorial Cup is all about. It is about community spirit, it is about sport, it is about welcoming visitors from across the country and showing them who Kelowna is and how we do things. And as we said in our initial video, to win the bid, it's all here. Hosting an event of this scale also brings real benefits to our community. It supports local businesses, strengthens our downtown, strengthens community connections, and creates opportunities for residents to be part of something national right here at home. None of this happens by accident. This has taken years of preparation, teamwork, and focus on getting it right. I can personally say that I have been involved in this national tournament now for getting it to our community for almost 10 years. And I know Kelowna is ready, our facilities are ready, our volunteers are ready, our community is ready, and our Kelowna Rockets are ready. To our visitors, welcome. To all the players, good luck. And to our residents, thank you for being part of this moment. Over the next 10 days, let us enjoy the hockey, support our local businesses, and take everything that comes from hosting one of the most historic trophies in Canadian junior hockey in one of the most beautiful cities in Canada. Let us build memories that will last well beyond the 2026 Memorial Cup. It is time for sport of hockey and community to take over Kelowna, and let us build the next chapter of stories. Thank you all for being here today.
Well, gratifying. For those that aren't aware, Tom was the chairman of the 2020 Memorial Cup, which in the end we know that did not come to fruition. Thanks for those words. Now I'd ask MP Stephen Fuhr to come up here to the microphone, who proudly represents Kelowna in Ottawa, continues to support opportunities that showcase our community on a national stage.
It's always difficult to go third because much of what I wanted to say has already been said, but I want to maybe take this a little different direction and just repeat a little bit of what was said, because this is very important. It is an absolute privilege to host this event in any city, and everyone who likes hockey would love to do that. We haven't hosted this event in this city for 22 years. We've won the bid to do this twice, once in 2020, which we lost to COVID, unfortunately, and we won it again in 2026. So And to put a sharper point on that, it was very, very competitive in 2026 because there was 5 teams or 5 cities looking to do it, so which is a little bigger than the normal number. So I want to spend a minute thanking the people that make this happen because it's a big deal. And for those that don't like hockey, we're all here, we love hockey and we're looking forward to it. The mayor mentioned the economic activity this is going to bring, the upgrades to the city facilities. All these things will be, when this 10 days is over, we'll enjoy it, but everyone else can enjoy it after the fact. So give me a minute to recognize the people that made this happen because this is really important for us. The Kelowna Rockets organization, Bruce Hamilton and the Rockets team, Dave Rush and Steve Thompson, who were the co-chairs in helping bringing this cup to Kelowna, or this event to Kelowna. Gavin Hamilton and Jillian Haller helping to turn this vision into a reality. Mayor Tom Dyas and council partnering to bring this event to our community. All the sponsors, Canco, where are you? Thank you, Canco, and there's many others. The volunteers, the billet families, and everyone else behind the scenes that put hundreds, probably thousands of hours into making this happen. Thank you very, very much. It was mentioned that the other aspect of this event, which is the tie to the Canadian Armed Forces. We all know what that is. We saw it in the video. It's been mentioned by a few speakers before me. Please take a moment to say thank you to those that you see in uniform. Thank them for their service, and let's keep those who have passed away or made the ultimate sacrifice for our country in our minds as we move through this next day, watching some really exciting hockey. In closing, hockey, and this was mentioned, and it is true, hockey brings Canadians together like very few things do, and those who haven't been here before are going to see it. Let's spend the next 10 days enjoying each other's company, showcasing our community, and watching some world-class hockey. Go Rockets, go!
And our final presenter, we want to welcome Dan MacKenzie, the president of the Canadian Hockey League, whose leadership continues to elevate the Canadian Hockey League both on and off the ice. Dan MacKenzie.
Wow. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us all here today. Bonjour à tous. Bonjour à toutes et tous. Merci d'être avec nous aujourd'hui. It's a real honor to be here in Kelowna, in the heart of the beautiful Okanagan region, to officially welcome the Memorial Cup back to this community for the first time in more than 20 years. On behalf of the Canadian Hockey League, I'd like to thank our distinguished guests today, Member of Parliament Stephen Fuhr, Mayor Tom Dyas, and the City of Kelowna for their support. I'd also like to acknowledge Chief Louis and Westbank First Nation, the Canadian Armed Forces, and our distinguished veterans for their participation today. And finally, we appreciate the support provided by Canco, who helped make today possible, as well as Kubota as the presenting sponsor of the Memorial Cup. I also want to take a minute and recognize Bruce Hamilton, President and General Manager of the Kelowna Rockets, along with the entire Rockets organization. Bruce, your commitment to junior hockey has made a lasting impact, not just here, but across the Western Hockey League, for many years as the chairman, and throughout the entire Canadian Hockey League as an active board member of the CHL board. I'd also like to thank Kelowna Host Organizing Committee chairs, co-chairs Dave Rush and Steve Thompson for their leadership of this event. And we're grateful for the tremendous work that the entire team in Kelowna have put together to prepare for this event and welcome the country to the Okanagan. To the players, coaches, and staff, management of the Rockets, the Everett Silvertips, Kitchener Rangers, and the Chicoutimi Saguenay, congratulations. Reaching the Memorial Cup is an extraordinary feat and reflects months of commitment, sacrifice, resilience, and belief. Each of your teams has earned the right to be here through an incredible season, and over the next 11 days, you'll have the opportunity to write your own chapter in a long and proud history of this championship. I also want to take a minute to recognize some people who never, ever get cheered, and that's the officials for this event. Our referees are Chad Ingalls from the OHL, Pascal Saint-Jacques from the QMJHL, and Mike Campbell and Jeff Ingram from the WHL. Our lines persons are Luke Pye from the OHL, Philippe Pilon from the QMJHL, and Nick Albanetti Dustin Minty, and Brandon Walker from the WHL. Yeah, let's give them a hand. We have more than 450 officials across the Canadian Hockey League, and these 10 gentlemen are going to get us through the tournament. Your selection reflects the excellence and dedication with which you approach your craft, and we thank you for the important role you're going to play. So before this competition starts, I do want to talk a bit about what this trophy represents and tell the story of the Memorial Cup. It's been a little part of it's been told, but not the whole story. So more than a century ago, there was a man named James Sutherland, and he lived in Kingston, Ontario. And he was a hockey guy, like lots of folks here. He was an administrator, a player, a coach, a manager, and a referee. And he actually founded the Kingston Frontenacs, who participate currently in the OHL. So in the years before World War I, just like the teams and staff that are sitting here today in Stuart Park, he helped lead the Frontenacs to championships in 2 consecutive seasons, 1910 and 1911. As the winds of war were building, Sutherland encouraged members of the hockey community to serve. And you have to remember, Canada was a new country back in 1911 and had never faced anything at that time like what was happening in Europe. Hockey became a vehicle to talk to young men about joining the fight. In 1916, he left the game and he left Kingston and enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force, eventually rising to the rank of captain. He survived the war, returned home, but like so many Canadians of that generation, he came back to a country forever changed. Among those who did not return were 2 of his best players, 2 of his star players, Alan Scotty Davidson and his team captain, George Taylor Richardson. They've been part of his championship teams in 2010 and 2011 in Kingston. They were young men he'd coached, guided, and believed in. Both lost their lives in battle. And that loss stayed with them. So out of that grief and out of a desire to make sure that their sacrifice and the sacrifice of so many others would never be forgotten, Sutherland had an idea. And he went to a local sponsor. He solicited the help of a man named Liam Carr, and they created this trophy to honor all Canadians who gave their lives in the First World War. So that trophy is the Memorial Cup. It was first awarded in 1919 to the best junior hockey team in Canada. So I'd like to take a minute to address the captains of the teams in this championship. To Carson, Taryn, Emmanuel, and Cameron. In 10 days, I'm going to stand in the middle of the ice at Prospera Place, and I'm going to hand one of you this trophy. When you raise it, please understand that you are part of a tradition that connects the generations and is bigger than just you and your team. Merci à tous d'être ici. Votre présence rend ce moment encore plus spécial. Thank you, Kelowna. Thank you to everyone here in the Okanagan, and best of luck to the 4 teams.
As we look ahead to tomorrow night's opening game, we want to take a moment to recognize one of the tournament's longest standing traditions. Each year, the host team takes to the ice for game number 1 wearing a commemorative jersey. A jersey that serves as a symbol of remembrance, respect, and reflection. Now this year, the tradition continues as the jersey honors the 100th anniversary of the Royal Canadian Legion, recognizing a century of service, sacrifice, unwavering support for Canada's veterans and their families.
Presenting the 2026 Memorial Cup commemorative jersey to the captain of the Kelowna Rockets. Pour la présentation du chandail commémoratif de la Coupe Memorial 2026 au capitaine des Rockets de Kelowna, veuillez accueillir, please welcome, the Vice President of Dominion Command, Vice-Président du Commandement du Dominion, Valérie McGregor. Rockets captain, le capitaine des Rockets, Carson Wetch. And President and GM of the Kelowna Rockets, le Président et le Directeur Général des Rockets de Kelowna, Bruce Hamilton.
Now, the 2026 commemorative jersey was inspired by the Royal Canadian Mint's commemorative Centennial Coin Collection, released in partnership with the Royal Canadian Legion. At the center of this jersey, which I think we're going to display, at the center of this jersey is a crest drawn from the coin artwork, creating a distinctive focal point that reflects both the Legion's history and the importance of honoring Canada's veterans. At the same time, the jersey was designed to remain grounded in the Kelowna Rockets. The black, red, and teal color, the palette, pays tribute to the team, drawing from both the club's current identity and its 30th anniversary. Along the neckline, and you can see it there, the words honoring Kelowna veterans are included as a local tribute to the heart of the concept. Now, these jerseys are available for auction. All the proceeds, by the way, will benefit the Royal Canadian Legion. Over to you, Bruce. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Reagan, and welcome everybody. Carson, I'm honored to be involved in presenting this historic jersey to you. This jersey represents the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the Royal Canadian Legion. The Kelowna Rockets are extremely honored to wear this jersey for the opening game of the 2026 Memorial Cup.
That is a great looking jersey. Okay, now hopefully on cue. Here we go. We want to thank Valerie, Carson, and Bruce for coming up here. And now, before we conclude this evening's ceremony, we invite you to turn your attention to the sky above as we continue the celebration and the arrival of the Memorial Cup here in Kelowna.